It is worthy of notice that the term Kanishka's Vihar may refer to the entire complex of stup, votive chapel, monastery, and other structures such as the refectory. In the Shak Khotni's legend, Kanishka's Vihar is mentioned as Sang Aram and indicates towards the popularity of Sarvastivāda sect at the time of Kanishka I. Even the Shaji Dheri casket inscription refers to the gift of a casket dedicated to Kanishka's Vihar and Mahasena's Sangaram. Different inscriptions suggest the existence of Sarvastivāda in Afghanistan, West Punjab, Sindh, Mathura, Shravasti, and Sarnath. The Mahasangikas had their presence at Mathura and in Afghanistan at Kanishka's time. Another notable assertion on Kanishka's importance in the history of Buddhism is his close association with the Fourth Buddhist Council. We learn from different Buddhist texts that after his conversion, the king became a staunch follower of the Buddha. Every day, a Buddhist monk gave him instructions and advice in sacred texts that he used to study with great devotion. But varying opinions and conflicting doctrines of different sects in religious matters made him unhappy. Therefore, to establish Buddhism at the zenith of its glory, he determined to reconcile the various opinions of these sects and settle the Vinaya, Sutra, and Abhidharma texts. He then convoked a council in the year 100 of the Common Era at Kundal Vihar in Kashmir, Gandhar. Some sources, of course, indicate that it was held at Kuban Monastery in Jalandhar, Punjab, at the request of Parshav, the Buddhist philosopher. About 500 Buddhist monks who were well versed in the Tipitak attended the council. The great Buddhist philosopher Vasumitra presided and Ashwaghosh acted as vice president in the council. 100,000 stanzas of Upadesh Shastra, explanatory of the canonical sutras, 100,000 stanzas of Vinay Vibhasha Shastras, explanatory of the Vinaya, and 100,000 stanzas of Abhidharma Vibhasha Shastra, explanatory of the Abhidharma, were composed during the session of the council. Participating monks discussed and debated over the conflicting interpretations of the 18 schools in front of council, settled their disagreements, recognized them as orthodox, and examined carefully the Tipitak, which was reduced to writing now. In this council, Sanskrit was recognized as the medium of expression for the Buddhist religion, and commentaries on each of the Pitakas were written, consisting of 100,000 verses. According to Xuanzang, the king himself came to Kashmir for attending the council, and he also built a monastery for monks' accommodation. He ordered that the entire treatise which was discussed in the council should be engraved on copper plates and then encased in stone boxes. For this purpose, Kanishka created a stupa. According to Paramarth, who lived from 499 to about 569 of the Common Era, this council was held 500 years after the Mahaparinirvana of the Buddha. One of the most significant decisions taken at this council was the settlement of the dissidents within the Buddhist Sangha. The council accorded recognition to all the 18 sects as the repositories of genuine Buddha Vachan. It appears that the monks of the Sarvastivad sect were most predominant at this council, but there is no evidence to indicate that Mahayana Buddhism was represented in this council. The Theravadins do not recognize this council, and there is no reference about this council in the Sri Lankan chronicles. Therefore, it has been mentioned that around this time an important change took place in the language of the Sarvastivadin canon, which appears to have been converted into Sanskrit from an earlier Prakrit version. This change had a long-term consequence for Buddhism, as Sanskrit was the sacred language of Brahmanical Hinduism as well. It enabled a much bigger audience to have access to Buddhist ideas and practices, but at the same time may have contributed towards the ultimate assimilation and acculturation of Buddhism into Brahmanical Hinduism. Kanishk patronized Buddhist scholars, and numerous scholars like Parshava, Vasumitra, Ashwaghosh, Sangraksh, Dharmtrat, Ghoshak, and Buddhadev became renowned for their literary work. His reign is also known for the Gandhara and Mathura schools of Buddhist art that produced fine specimens of the images of the Buddha and the Bodhisattvas. A gold coin of Kanishka shows the Buddha standing in typical Gandhara style along with the Greek legend Sakmano Bodho, Shakyamuni Buddha. The discovery of the images of the Buddha at Hoti Mardan and Mathura, the dedication of the stone image of Bodhisattva by Bhikshu Bal at Sarnath, a Chaitya slab showing a stoop at Amravati of the 2nd century of the Common Era offer sufficient evidence about the flourishing condition of Buddhism during Kanishka's period. Various epigraphic evidences also prove the prosperity of Buddhism in Kanishka's reign. The Kosum inscription of Kanishka is dated in the 2nd year of the erection of a statue of Bodhisattva by a Buddhist nun named Bodhi Mitra. The Sui Vihar copper plate inscription in Khroshti of the reign of Kanishka mentions that the female lay devotee Balanandi and her mother Baljaya gave a shrine for the staff and the customary accessories. Further, the Zeda II inscription in Khroshti of Kanishka's time indicates towards the importance of the Sarvastivad sect. The Mankiala, Rawalpindi district of Punjab, the Mankiala inscription of the year 18 of Kanishka refers to the establishment of several relics of the Buddha. Another inscription of the year 23 mentions that Pushyadatta, the daughter of Maharaj Matsyagupta, established a Bodhisattva image in her monastery. Then the Setmahet Bodhisattva image inscription states that an image of a Bodhisattva, an umbrella, and a stick were set up at Shravasti by the Buddhist monk Bal. King Vashishka. After Kanishka's death, his son Vashishka became the ruler of Kuṣāṇ Empire. Different epigraphic and literary records show that he had Sanchi, Kashmir, Mathura, and surrounding regions under his control. The Isapur, a village near Mathura, Yup inscription of the year 24 mentions him as Maharaj Devaputra Shahi Vashishka. The Sanchi Buddhist statue, inscription of the year 28, describes him as Vashushka. The Rajtarangani refers to him as Juska. He patronized Buddhism and built a monastery at Juskpur. The Sanchi inscription of Kuṣāṇas, that is Vashishka, of the year 22, gives an account of the installation of an image of the Buddha by one Vidyamati. The Sanchi Brahmi inscription mentions that one Madhurika in the year 28, during the reign of the Maharaj Rajtiraj Devaputra Shahi Vashishka, constructed a shrine and established a Buddha image in the Dharmadev monastery.